So there are three types that we'll be talking about. The first one is cnidarians, the second one is planarians, and the last one is annelids. So we start off with cnidarians. Cnidarians are organisms, let's say, simple organisms, okay? They are classified as cellular level organization, okay, and then they are radial symmetrical. These cnidarians, they consist of a net nervous system, okay, a net nervous system composed of neurons which are in contact with contractile cells located inside the body wall. So the nervous system has two main functions, which is fast acting and slow acting. Fast acting is used by cnidarians during, let's just say, troublesome time, or they're trying to protect themselves from danger, from threats. So the fast acting helps them, let's just say, defend themselves, move faster, stuff like that. Very fast movements. Okay, the second one is the slow acting one. The slow acting function, it helps in delicate movements. Okay, that's all for cnidarians. The second one should be planarians. Well, planarians, they are classified as bilateral symmetrical organisms. And then they have a nervous system which resembles as a ladder. So because they have two vertical, ventrally located lateral nerve cords. Okay, and in between they have longitudinal nerve cords. So the function of these nerve cords is to increase the speed in transferring information from the cerebral ganglia towards the posterior end. And then these planarians, they have been classified under organisms that undergo cephalization. So cephalization is basically a fancy word or a scientific term to say that the head consists of most of the nervous tissue. Like for humans, we have the brain. So maybe they have the brain there, they have other tissue, other nervous tissue, all located inside the head. It's like centralized in the head. And these characteristics help planarians to accommodate their active lifestyle. Okay, finally, we have annelids. Annelids are complex organisms, and they are invertebrates. Then they have an invertebrate system. So an invertebrate system is basically almost somewhat similar like a vertebrate system, in which in terms of they have a brain, they have a nerve cord, a ventral nerve cord to be specific, with ganglia in between. And then they're more complex, means that they have more functions, like they have a stomach, they have a mouth-like structure.
Be discussing the essential characteristics of the vertebrate nervous system. The most important part is obviously the brain. The brain is divided into three sections: the midbrain, the forebrain, and the hindbrain. The hindbrain regulates the motor activities in a conscious level. For example, when we are breathing, our lungs will expand and contract, even when we are sleeping. Other than that, the coordination of our motor nervous systems will be controlled by the cerebrum. An essential part in the midbrain is the optic lobes. It is the center of coordinating reflexes for ears and eyes. In early adaptations, the forebrain was actually adapted mainly for the sense of smell in most vertebrates. But now, it is more evolved to process information, mainly in concern of the process of sensory information. The thalamus is the most evolved part of this sensory input, from the midbrain to the hindbrain. It passes the information to the cerebrum, from the hindbrain to the forebrain. Finally, the hypothalamus is involved in the part where homeostasis is carried out throughout the entire organism. The hypothalamus communicates with the medulla oblongata and the pituitary gland. Frontal lobes have become enlarged and more complex, mostly in primates. As for the cortex, it has become enlarged and forms connection with various other parts of the brain. This is to help the brain function more as a whole. This adaptation gives the brain more increased mental capacity. This gives the mammals an adapt to This gives the animal a higher mental adapt to more challenging mental activities. For example, predicting the future, manipulating the environment,